Now, some of you know how this began. This is a story of Lorna Watson. Ready? Martin, are you ready? No, too jaunty. This is not a jaunty number. This is about Lorna Watson. You know that this is a sad tale. Lorna Watson glanced about her. You ready? When you if you suddenly feel you want to join in, you don't have to feel you're there all the time. Here we go. Lorna Watson glanced about her self-consciously. It seemed that everybody was staring at her, not just because of her shapely figure and the bikini which showed it off to perfection. She wouldn't have minded that. No, it was because of the 3-year-old boy who was timidly wetting his feet at the tide's edge, 15 or 20 yards away. Yes, that was it. They probably hadn't even given Lorna a second glance, or the little boy. It was just her conscience mocking her. You're an unmarried mother, and that child of yours on the tide's edge is a bastard, and always will be. She groaned, hated herself for what she'd done to Rodney, a scar that he'd carry for the rest of his life, even in this so-called enlightened age. You're a bastard, Rodney. You're a bastard, Rodney Watson. Who's your father? An Italian waiter who fled once your mother became pregnant. You're just the unlucky bastard out of possibly scores who might have spawned in a nympho's cunt. As I said, there is some right-wing agenda sometimes in going through it. We're going to flip over now just to... She looked out to see. Where was Rodney? Where was Rodney? I mean, the kid will be okay. Anyway, he's only a bastard. Then she realised the raft was drifting seawards. Rodney sitting there, grinning his delight, right past a man treading water. It was drifting too far. Lorna ran. She ran, fought against the water above her waist now, and then came the awful realisation that she couldn't swim. Sheer helplessness. And then the scream rose, and everybody turned. They were coming out of the water. Monstrous creatures erupting out of the deep in miniature tidal waves, a line of them spanning from the harbour entrance right down to the Holcombe sand dunes, an invasion so perfectly timed that hundreds of bathers could not retreat. Crabs the size of beach donkeys. Tiny eyes flashing malevolently in the bright sunlight, the tide's edge turning crimson. Lorna's one fear was for Rodney. Her mind was crazed with terror, and then she saw Rodney. He came up out of the water with unbelievable suddenness, wriggling like live seafood speared on a cocktail stick. Clutched in the grip of a fearsome claw, the beast beneath it far bigger than any of those other attacking crabs, and the grip was tightening, cutting through the frail infant body, severing it so that blood spurted in all directions. She froze, her mind and body suddenly numbed. Rodney's face was turned in her direction, crazed infantile agony, eyes that bulged and filled with blood, then burst like punctured air bubbles. His torso fell and splashed into the sea, now cut in two. Rodney was probably dead. That, ladies and gentlemen, is free jazz and crab experimentation. Don't go and see Foz's show, because his show is him just going back on the train tomorrow. That's the whole show. Ali MacGregor's show, fantastic late night variety show. Martin is involved in that, and Helen's show as well. This is part of the free Fringe. Obviously, we used to do things like the Assembly Rooms and the Pleasance, and then in a crazed moment of egalitarianism, possibly tinged with socialism and the dream of altruism, we decided to put the shows on here. And should you wish to give, £2 or £3 will cover flyers and rent and everything else that we have to pay for while we're up here. And the main reason we do this is to try and keep everything value for money. So please support the Free Fringe. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it is a return to the idea of what the Fringe was always meant to be. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.
If anyone wants